was filming the whole time with no bottom mascara. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Today, well, kind of hard to explain because this is not the look that I'm wearing in the tutorial that is at the end. So if you guys are only here for the tutorial, just skip to the end. I'll put the timestamp right here. But I filmed like a first impressions with the Kylie Take Me on Vacation palette, which is this palette right here. And I needed like time to use it more because I was just still so on the fence as far as like a good review and to kind of give you guys my thoughts. So I've used it 2 more times since this tutorial just to really get like a good feel on it because I still could not decide. So these are my thoughts and now more of a review of the Kylie Take Me on Vacation palette. So the palette retails for $52 and comes with 16 gorgeous shades and a mirror and a nice dual-ended brush. Now I personally never use the brushes from these palettes, but it does come with the brush if that's like a must for you. I'll start by saying that I know people give Kylie a lot of heat because she's a celebrity and a young celebrity with her own makeup line. I don't understand why because her stuff is really good, everything that I've tried. Her bronze palette is actually one of my like top 3 palettes. I love this palette so much, the quality, everything like that. It's a great palette, but people just don't want to support her, I guess because she already has money. I don't know. But I love makeup, so I don't care what you do for a living or how much money you already make. I'm going to buy your stuff if I like it. But people give her a lot of heat, which is a sad situation because, you know, everyone deserves support. But anyway, you spend your money on what you want to, and I do the same. So I bought this palette, and I know when I saw the whole line on Snapchat, I think everyone was probably freaking out a little bit because everything was so bronzy and glowy and sparkly, just perfect for summer. And I'm not crazy about the whole camo kind of nude packaging, but a lot of people like the packaging too. But this palette, of course, caught my eye because it's the only thing that I bought from the collection, and I was so excited to get it, just like any other makeup lover. So when I use this palette, I know a lot of people were upset about the original bronze and burgundy palettes because the shimmers on her Snapchat versus what they look like in real life were just more like a satin finish, not actually shimmery and sparkly. And this palette, the Take Me on Vacation palette, was supposed to have a new formula, and the swatches looked amazing on her Snapchat. So I was expecting a little bit of a difference when I got this one. So I went with some of the matte shades. Of course, they're great. They blend really nicely. They're really smooth. And then when I started going with the shimmers, it was the same situation. So I went in with this shade first. So let me just swatch like some of these shimmers because they look really pigmented when you swatch them on your hand and when you just look in the pan. But again, when you actually apply them on your eyes, they're more of a satin. So that looks really blinding and super pigmented, but they don't give that really intense shimmer that a lot of people want, and I know that I want. So when I did this tutorial, the first one, I had to use the ColourPop shade on top, and it's the same thing I did today. I tried to go in with her shimmers, and then I needed another bit of sparkle, so I went in with another ColourPop shadow because I'm wearing her palette on my eyes today. But the same thing for the colorful shades because I know a lot of people were drawn to the yellow and the blue and the green down here. The green was what I was most excited for, but the yellow is a matte, so you could use that as a transition, but they do have some pops of color. So when you go into the blue, which if you've watched Jeffree Star's review, you know that he said it was kind of sheer. I think Amanda Ensing might have said the same thing, but it's the same thing. So they look really pigmented in the pan. When you swatch them on your hand though, it's just not the same. So like a little up close of them, like they look really buttery and smooth and really shimmery on your hand, but when you apply them onto your eye, it's just not the same. And this green and the blue were definitely like a letdown as far as formula. So for me, after playing with it a few more days because I couldn't get a good feel on it the first time like I usually can with palettes, the palette just wasn't worth it for me. Now, the one shade that I'm really sad and that I wish I could find a dupe for is this lilac purple shade that's a matte. This shade is so gorgeous. It actually ended up being my favorite from the palette because I've never seen anything like it, and it's a matte. I love matte shadows, and I loved it when Jeffree used it in his look. Too. You love matte shadows too? Yeah. And I loved it in Jeffree Star's look. But overall, since the shimmers are nothing special, and I have pretty much any of these other color mattes in another palette, I know this one too looks a lot more deep and chocolatey in the pan, but when you apply it on your eyes, it's not quite as dark. So just little things like that. This palette just wasn't worth it for me. Again, it was $52 and it's gorgeous, but if you're looking for something that's really shimmery and really pretty and sparkly, this is not going to be it, even though the formula was new. So I just don't understand. Usually makeup lines have problems with making their mattes really nice and smooth, and their shimmers are already really blinding. But with Kylie's, it's the opposite. The shimmers are really like subdued and very subtle, which is still pretty. I just like a lot of sparkle. And then her mattes are like 10 out of 10. So it's just different for me. I thought I might have to like dig down into the pan to get more product out, or to make it more shimmery, but it just doesn't work for me. And then I always apply my lid shades with my finger. And because I don't use a brush to apply my lid shades, I don't spray Fix Plus on the shadow to apply onto my lid. So you can do that if that's something you do, but I always use my fingers just because I feel like I get the most color payoff. And I really wish I didn't have to use Fix Plus with any of these shades, because it's just so disappointing like how they look in the palette compared to on your hand. It's just not the same thing. So for me, I would just skip out on this palette, but I will be looking for a dupe for this really pretty lilac matte shade. So if you guys know of one, please let me know in the comments, because I love this shade. But for everything else, it's just your everyday average palette if you can only use the mattes. Just nothing special because the shimmers just aren't there, and it just is what it is. So I will continue to purchase from Kylie Cosmetics. I can't wait to see what else she comes out with this year, because I do love her things. Just this one was kind of a miss for me. So of course, if you guys love the palette, or if you guys have any questions about the palette, maybe you feel like I didn't answer, leave me a comment down below and I'll be glad to answer that for you guys. And again, thank you so much for watching. And if you guys want to see how I created that bronzy look with the pop of purple in my inner corner, then just keep watching.